Hi, I'm Matthew on Watch Me If You Can. Today we're going to talk about tools. If you're relatively new or been thinking of getting into watchmaking and you've done a little shopping online for tools, well, you've noticed there are a lot of tools out there and the prices can range from very cheap to very, very expensive. Now, I like getting a new tool as much as the next person, but just a little PSA here. Rather than dump all your money into tools, think maybe about your education, maybe an online course or something along those lines. I've mentioned that I used to be a high-speed driving instructor at the racetrack, and one of the common questions that students would ask is what upgrades they should do to their car. And the common response they would get from instructors is upgrade the nut behind the wheel. And it's a similar sort of thing in photography. You're more likely to improve as a photographer with the gear that you have just by getting out and using it more than you are going out and buying the latest and greatest gear. Now, that said, of course, you need tools to do watchmaking. There are a ton of options for watchmaking tools, and frankly, it can be overwhelming. And this has inspired Marshall Sutcliffe from Wristwatch Revival on YouTube to partner with Alex Hansen. And together they've created a website, sutcliffehansen.com, and they're offering tools geared toward beginners. Are these Wristwatch Revival kits worth buying? Of the kits being offered, probably the one that's going to catch the eye of most beginners is going to be the cheapest one. It's $75. It's called the entry-level kit. It includes a loop, tweezers, and 4 screwdrivers. Now, these screwdrivers aren't the highest quality available, but he's upgraded the tips. That entry-level kit seems like decent value, but you'll still need a movement, and he does offer an ST36 movement for $69, and well, that gets you to about $145. You'll see that they offer other kits and items for sale, but I want to keep the scope of the video kind of minimalistic. I want to stick with what you really need to start, just to see if this is a hobby that you want to explore more. So what kind of value do the Wristwatch Revival kits offer? Well, I'm not going to break down every tool and every kit, but I think we can get a good sense looking at the Essentials kit, which is an upgrade to their entry-level kit. This set of Horatech screwdrivers, $200+. These Horatech tweezers, they're $50 each. So you're at or over $300 right there. These loops, you could find them for $50, give or take, if you can. Even so, you're not really undercutting Marshall by very much, if at all. And with the possibility of having to pay multiple shipping costs, you might not do as well. So they're offering pretty good quality tools at pretty reasonable prices. And I don't know what they're getting their inventory at, but I'd be surprised if they're making very much on it. Back to the question of Sutcliffe Hansen. Are the Wristwatch Revival kits worth it? Should you buy one? They are good tools and they are reasonably priced. If money's no object, sure. They're good tools, reasonably priced, and it supports the Wristwatch Revival channel. Marshall has done a lot in the community, so why not support him? But what if I could suggest a lower cost way that doesn't necessarily exclude Wristwatch Revival kits, at least at this point? Even though I started out with some very inexpensive tools, I have added some nicer tools as time has gone on. But I still use these cheap tools. Let's start with the movement. You're going to want something inexpensive that works. I like the suggestion of an ST36. I've seen them online for $25, $30. And the fact that it's new, well, it means it should work when you get it. When you take it apart and reassemble it, it should work again. And if it didn't, then you know you probably did something wrong. It's large, so it's easier to see. And that size also gives it a more robust construction for inexperienced hands. Now, I know it's tempting to start on a used movement, but I'm going to tell you that they are often full of surprises and it may not be pleasant. Whatever you do, don't start at a movement that you have some sort of emotional attachment to. Save your grandfather's watch for later. Screwdrivers from Horatech and Bergeon, well, they are more expensive and they're definitely of a higher quality. But I'm going to tell you that an inexpensive set of screwdrivers is fine to start on. I started out on a $15 or maybe less dollar set of screwdrivers. I still use them. Now, I do have to shape them more than I do the nicer screwdrivers that I've slowly been accumulating. But to start out, they're fine. Now let's talk about tweezers. The price gap is ridiculous. I've seen them as cheap as a couple of dollars all the way up to approaching $100. And I've seen everything from carbon, plastic, bamboo, stainless steel, ceramic. You know what? I started out with a cheap brass set of tweezers, and I still use them today. They're different shapes and strengths, meaning some are easier, have a lighter press, some have a heavier press. I could use any one of those to work on a watch, but I gravitate more toward the number 3. It just has the right sort of touch for me. And the brass is easy to sharpen and shape, and you're able to bend the tips of those for kind of specific uses. So a $5 set of brass tweezers is a fine way to start. Magnification is a pretty high priority because seeing what you're working on will help you prevent some very costly mistakes in both money and time. I wear a visor. It kind of fits on top of my head, and it has 2 lenses. I can flip them up, one down or both down for greater magnification. They are in front of my glasses so I can keep my glasses on. I have this little $5 loop that also clips onto my glasses, and if you don't wear glasses, you can buy an inexpensive set of reading glasses, and that will actually help with the magnification. This little loop is kind of my backup. A loop like this, you'll want to make sure you clip it over your dominant eye. This will help you with your perspective, and also some people get headaches if they don't have it over the dominant eye. I actually also use this little loop a lot like a typical magnifying glass. So this $5 loop is fine to start on. A casing pad and movement holder are really nice to have, but it's not critical when you're starting out. I started out using an improvised casing pad that I made out of bubble wrap and packaging tape. It seems like watchmaking enthusiasts spend a lot of time talking about work mats, but paper works just fine. I actually started out using recycled office paper clipped together, a few sheets clipped together for some thickness. I've even bought a couple of work mats, and I still ended up putting the paper on top of the work mat. I just prefer that. You don't need to buy a work mat to start. I do have to admit, I kind of like using the hand lever tools. You can get by under tweezers. This is just a practice movement. You should be able to get those off with your tweezers, okay? The same thing goes for the cannon pinions. You do not need to buy a cannon pinion removal tool. You should be able to pull that off with your tweezers as well. Another popular extra, but it's not critical at this point, is Rodico. It's that putty-like substance that watchmakers like to use to absorb oil, pick up parts. Sometimes we'll use it to stick parts together. You can't eat it, but it is fun to use. Now, you may already have a few other things around the house that might be handy. I like to use wooden coffee stir sticks. I've used toothpicks. I'll often use these items to hold parts down while I'm reassembling. I almost always work with finger cots, but a pair of gloves can work if you want to. It's not absolutely required that you work with gloves on, but if you want to get the feel of that, gloves will work just fine. I've used a lot of different kind of household items, even folded paper to kind of help divide up parts in little trays that I had on hand. I've used jars inverted as dust covers. You don't have to spend money on all the little accessories to have on your work table. You don't want to buy all this stuff at once anyway, because you're going to develop some preferences, and you want to save a little fun for later anyway. So you certainly don't have to spend a lot of money to get started into watchmaking. I still use those $5 brass tweezers. I do have to sharpen them from time to time, and I still use most of those screwdrivers in that cheap toolkit. I actually still use that improvised casing pad from time to time. With this lower budget approach, it leaves you with the financial flexibility where if you get hooked, well, you can go to sutcliffehansen.com and buy a wristwatch revival toolkit if you want. You can buy from S-Slinger or whoever you want to buy your tools from. I hope that you'll get started in the watchmaking. I know that some of you have expressed self-doubt in the comments. Believe me, if I can do this, you can do this. So don't hesitate anymore. So that's going to be it for this video. I hope it's been helpful. Thank you for staying with me this long. I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, take care.